Wednesday, Valerie Hunt, RunRx, Ask Me Anything. So I had two really good questions this week. And the first question I think was about, someone said, I go running and my skin gets a little itchy. And I would think that's just from your, when you first start to sweat sometimes. But luckily it sounds to me like probably something that will go away as you keep running. But hopefully you get that figured out. That's the only answer I can give you. Sometimes when it's cold outside and you start running or you haven't run in a while, you know, and you start to get hot and sweat, you might just feel a little tingly or itchy. The second question was a really good question about hills. She said, they said, when I'm running, I get a lot of pain in my IT band area, my hip pain, Achilles. So I feel like when I run on a maybe a straight road, I'm not feeling that tension in the Achilles, but as soon as I start doing hills, then I start to get that stress. So I made this little hill. All right, so the fun part, by the way, of working on your run is if you keep it simple and you keep your thought and practice simple, I promise it makes running like that much more fun. So what changes up the hill is because the ground is coming closer to me, right? The ground is sloping, then two good things for you. One, it's much easier to fall because I'm much more likely to do this when the ground is closer to me, right? Than like downhill when it's far away. Second thing is notice, let's talk about the Achilles for just a second, because for a lot of people, especially when they're switching from push to pull, which is a challenge, they get tension in the Achilles or calf or plantar. So notice how my feet, let me put them all the way on. So first, if I was standing at the bottom of a hill, I highly encourage you guys to try this drill. At the bottom of a hill, ideally. So my feet are both flat on the ground, right? My knees are bent. What makes this so good is if you have a good range of motion back here, right? Because this is like where you're going to be hanging out up the hill. So this is important to just practice this to feel that, like right here, do you feel tension in the calf and Achilles? And if you do, then just note to self, maybe I should add a little bit more calf Achilles exercises, right? That's in the self-care. So anyway, here I am. What would be your thought to go up a hill? So most people, what they do is they put weight in one foot and then they use that foot to push. And so they push into the ground. And what happens, hold on, let me move my box here. Okay, so if I push going up a hill, so I'm thinking, oh, it's going to push me up the hill. But what happens is you push, all my body weight now is on my Achilles and my foot and my calf. And when I push, watch, I'm going to push. And I got up there, but look, my back foot's here. And so then I'm stuck here, and I want to push this foot. So then I'm trying to like jump up the hill. So you're completely working against gravity. So if you're feeling your Achilles or your calf when you go up a hill, it's a signal that you need to just bend the knees and pull. So what's the difference? Well, I can stand here at the bottom of my hill, right, and just pull in place. You see? Get comfortable with what does that feel like, because it's going to feel the same up the hill. What happens when you start to travel is in place, ears, shoulders, hips are in line, but the challenge is I need this line, this hip line, to be over my ankles. So then start to pull in place and bring your whole line up and forward. You see? So you see how I'm traveling, and this is just a very interesting hill I've made, but the idea is to show you I never reached my foot forward and I never pushed my foot back. I took my body weight forward so that I could unweigh my feet, and literally that gravity will take me up the hill. So the challenge is to barely pull the foot. Cadence goes up as you climb. Cadence goes up, 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 up as you climb. And getting comfortable with that quick pull. Whether, by the way, it's uphill, downhill, or straightaway, the quicker you can change support, the faster you will travel forward. Isn't that cool? So most people, the only reason they have a struggle to travel forward is because they're still trying to work with their feet in movement. You have one movement, and it's just simply up, 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 up. This never changes. So going uphill, make your line nice and tall, chest forward, and you will start to travel. The challenge is, will your feet separate when you run? Yes. You can't feel it. So work on what you can control. So, by the way, what if my calf and Achilles are hurting or bothering me? So work on just this. Stand on a slope, bend your knees, and get more and more comfortable with this range of motion, right? So that when I'm running, what if it's a really steep hill? So people say, hey, what if it's really steep and my heels aren't touching? Well, then do some work here, right? I do pulls on curves all the time so that I can work on that elasticity in my calf and Achilles. You want that calf and Achilles to be relaxed, because remember, what muscle do we use in running? And only 10%, hamstring. This is so important. So if I'm feeling my calf and Achilles, remember, if you have a question, just ask. If I'm feeling my calf or Achilles in my run, it's because instead of pulling, you're doing a little bit of a push. So if I go uphill and I think I'm supposed to go, see, then unfortunately, I just put like a 30-pound load on my ankle. See, that's not fun. You just have to be like, okay, I'm one unit, up, 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 okay? And then as you get more comfortable, if I had more space, obviously, but honestly, if you can get comfortable, so then what happens downhill, right? Well, downhill, the ground is sloping away. So falling is happening. On a downhill, kind of like treadmills, it's pose-pull. So what happens is, why am I not going down right now? Because my shoulders are behind my hips. So only when your hips pass over the ball of the foot will the body go forward. So keep that in mind. So right now, if I just take my shoulders and put them over my hips, watch, I am going. So the same challenge happens on downhill is practice at the top of the hill. See, it's still just pulling. Up, 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 up. When I want to travel, I've got to let my upper body line become a line, but I still just pull my foot. So the fun part of training for uphill or downhill is really the combination of quick pulls and muscle elasticity, which you can practice just like I showed you, a little bit of a ramp. Curves work really well. Curve pulls, up, 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 up. And notice I'm not worried about putting my whole foot on the curve, but the whole foot will touch down during your run and on the ground. So some of these exercises to help you get that quick pull is the answer. When you have calf pain, I know your first thought is, oh, I'm gonna stretch it, which is a great thought. But think about it. If I keep just pulling on my calf muscle to stretch it, how is that gonna help me when I run? Pull my foot quicker. The only way you're gonna pull your foot quicker in your run is to work on that quick pull. So these little drills. So if you've never gone through, by the way, my RunnerX reboot, it's on YouTube, RunnerX, it's totally free. Takes you through skill, strength, and self-care. And the drills are all designed to help you have a better awareness during your run. And the fun part is, what the hardest part of running, guys, uphill, downhill, any of it, is holding this line, this fall line. So ears, shoulders, hip, lift, and ankle is your fall line. So practicing standing in the pose so you can hold that line. And then just thinking, I've got to hold this line. When you're walking even, when you're standing, right? And if you start standing with your knees bent, that will start to help this area increase its own mobility. Like, you don't have to spend 30 minutes stretching. I don't have to do all of this extra work. I just need to be consistent in my practice. So I'm always like, when I'm standing, thinking about my knees being bent, holding this line up. I walk like this, right? I do a ton of drills. And again, even the drills, it's like 10 or 15 reps. It's not like 30 minutes of curb runs, because then your calves will be crying. But the idea is, if I can understand why maybe I'm hurting, then I could reset inside of my run. So if I go running up or downhill and my calf is just on fire, then just go back to, okay, let me stop for a second. Not maybe in the middle of a race, but your body doesn't care. You would stop for a second in your movement and just reset. You know, get back here, do some pulls, shake out your shoulders, and just remind yourself, I have to be right here with me. And then let your upper body take you forward. You're pulling in response. Your feet will start to let go. You know, and a lot of it is just when I think about it when I'm not running, it will happen when I run. So one of the challenges I get from people is we're really stuck and we don't realize it on over movement in our running and wanting to feel the ground. So people are always asking me about foot strike. And I want to say to you, because someone had a great thing last question, was, I won't be able to say it exactly right, but his question was that he had read somewhere about how long the foot should stay on the ground. And my response back was, never think about the ground, right? I don't want to be on the ground. I want to be running. I want to be free falling. I want to feel the up. I want to get off the ground. My thought, your thought, the more you think that I want to, you know, hold my upper body in this position, that's really the work on you in a bit. But your feet are just pulling up, 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 and you're telling them the direction to pull. You want the foot to pull up. And the fun part is, even though you're going forward, right, the challenge and the fun of kind of getting to know your body is the hamstring finishes the pull, not you. So in place, you pull to pose. When you run, you only need to break contact with the ground. This is so important uphill, guys. Downhill, on straightaways, on any of it. The more you let go and allow the muscles to work on their own, then they will be nice to you. So are my calves working when I'm running? You bet. A lot. But am I actively working them? No. And that's a huge difference. So like if we were going to jump rope all together, so get my jump rope out, this is all me asking my calves to work because I'm in place and I'm bouncing and I'm controlling all of the movement. So people always say, jump rope is so great for running. Yes, but realize it's a very much calf elasticity strength exercise, much more so than running. Running is about you letting go of the calves and knowing they'll do their job if you let them go, and you just think of your action. Up. My job is to pull and then let everything else do its own job. That's the fun of running. So thank you guys. I love these weeks. Hope you enjoyed my little hill. You're always welcome to send me comments, questions. You can post here. You can reach out to the website, team@runrx.fit. If you've never taken the quiz, we're actually about to update and have some new fun stuff on the website. But if you haven't taken the quiz and you've got like a shin splints, you know, plantar, IT band, get on that quiz. And I'm telling you, it just gives you a little bit, it gives you a skill, strength, and self-care tip to add. And the more you start to realize that all works together, it's the best. Last thing, of course, is you can always come and work with me. So we have a great program. We have a 12-week program, RunRx Strong, where you get 12 weeks of coaching and you get video check-ins where I'm just looking at you. Just your video, you're running. You can ask me whatever you want, and I take you through the progress and the progression of running. And then we also have like Zoom, so you get interactive coaching. It's a lot of fun, runrx.fit. Otherwise, ask questions. Go to the YouTube, check out that reboot, and keep those questions coming, guys. Thank you so much.